My brother asked me, like, what are you doing? And I wasn't sure how to answer him
I don't know.
succinctly without getting really patriotic.
Really?
My answers become patriotic too quickly. So,
Nah.
well, what are we doing?
Well, I guess we started talking about this like a couple of years ago almost. It's been probably, we started talking about kind of doing a thing where we talked about technology and specifically drones. But kind of expanded beyond that. I've been spending a lot of time researching drones and or unmanned aerial systems. They've changed the name on those quite a bit. Like it used to be, there's drones and there's UAVs.
But did you work with any drones when you deployed?
Very limited, actually, because the problem with the drones that we had. Now, granted, this is back in
2007.
Yeah, no, it was
Six?
before that.
Oh.
5 or 6 or something like that.
So not Fallujah.
It wasn't Fallujah.
Okay.
Yeah, the problem we had, they were called Dragon Eyes, and this thing just looked like a really expensive RC plane. I mean, it was really shitty. I mean, the problem is they were so expensive. I was doing some research for this earlier today, just because kind of reminiscent over the things, and I was curious about the cost because we lost one. Right? Like wind picked up and it just like blew away, and we had to send people to go find it because it's as I found out, it was like $40,000 for this piece of shit, and they maintained that trend quite a bit.
But these are the ones you launch by hand, right?
Yeah,
You have to like get a running start and then
it basically looked like a webcam. It had a couple cameras on it. It had one that was kind of side view, and then one on the front. And the operator would control it. There was like a Pelican case, So obviously it made it.
I worked with one when I was in Tartar.
Yeah.
When we were with the Navy SEALs there, actually. And we used that to see what was going on.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty basic requirement to just be able to, just look over, see what's going on somewhere. And, but unfortunately, the mechanisms and procurement and product development or whatever you want to call it in military applications is, for whatever
Hasn't
reason.
changed.
Yeah.
Still crap.
It's extremely difficult. And so,
let me clarify. It's crap. In my experience, and I worked 2 years, kind of like on the contracting logistics side. All the problems that I saw, most of the problem I saw, were just with improperly written, specification for what's needed.
right. Yeah.
Basically, it doesn't. And then the company gets hired to do it, and they do their thing. But generally speaking, most of the flaws were because it just wasn't written right. It wasn't clear what's supposed to be done.
Right. Yeah. The requirement writing is just always, and I think this is we've been talking about this as well. Is that the problem with larger, entities, companies, governments, and things like that is that basically the operators of the equipment and the people that are actually on the ground doing things, their feedback doesn't really translate well into the requirements, and it's a classic telephone game where that you played in school where it starts off Jimmy's wearing a blue suit and then it turns out he's dragon or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we have like direct experience with this with wearable antenna. So years ago we started an antenna company when I was still in the Marine Corps, and like it was a tactical antenna. It was innovative. It would hide inside your body armor. Like people wanted it. We had like Israeli Defense Forces and like like a bunch of people were trying to get it. And here we are, like having put like, I don't know, like $70,000 of our money into it, credit cards and whatnot, and just unable to find funding. Granted, this was this is like 2009 and the market went to crap, but man, that was like, we had a functional, like we needed like $100,000 more for like to really dig into RF engineering.
Literally something like that would, $250,000 is like.
To this day, they still don't really have, like, they're still using the stupid whip antennas that make you, that people just fold down on themselves. Anyway, let's not talk about wearable antenna. Lessons learned, though. Procurement is a bitch.
Yeah. A lot of their mechanisms on these like prime contractors is that they're looking for small businesses to work with, because that allows them to be, I think, up to 10% higher on their bidding where they can contest it. Well, but they're basically looking to just push the development cost onto these guys that are just scraping.
But it's also like half Americans are employed by small business. So if you don't do that, you're basically locked into
I think it's a great idea, but I think they basically, what ends up happening is that these larger contractors end up exploiting these small businesses and try to get them to develop. They've gotten the $1 billion to develop this product. In specific, I was
without
talking
them,
about,
you can't do it. I mean, look, we worked with Lockheed Martin, right? When we built a SBIR, STTR portal for them, it was because they were basically trying to reach small businesses.
Yeah.
Like we made a portal for them that, like, small businesses would, and it's funny because we did this like 2 years after our wearable antenna thing didn't work out. Just by chance, Lockheed Martin contracts us to build a system to reach out to small businesses. I was really frustrated because like on there, like we would build the system where you would basically it would match a small business with a subject matter expert at Lockheed Martin that basically was an expert in this field. And like RF engineering was on there, like 6 different variations of it. I'm like, man, if only this was around 2 years before.
Radios,
So I don't know, big companies, they're legitimately trying like to leverage. I mean, because once again, at least half the talent is in the small businesses. So if you don't do that, you're losing out on half the talent.
Yeah. I think
but I'm sure they also do it because they want to get the contract. They want to get the small business.
Yeah, my experience. Yeah, that was my take on it. Was that, or from my experience, they didn't want to give up any money, and they just wanted to kind of, have us.
Yeah, but most small businesses don't know what they're doing, right? So Lockheed Martin, from their perspective, they're like, "Oh God, we got to help these people. They're gonna, run out of money."
They wouldn't. I mean, they wouldn't help us. I mean, they wouldn't. There was money. No money was discussed, like as far as like them, putting any money up for R&D or anything. This was in particular for the Future Force Warrior, something like that. It's like where you have the little
it was basically a RoboCop.
Yeah, RoboCop thing, and
it's
it was
like
the
8th time the military tries to make the warrior of the future, and like still whip antennas.
There's buying Harris radios.
Still using whip antennas.
Yeah, I was really surprised because that's when we flew out to Scottsdale with General Dynamics, and they were like presented. They had people presenting.
When was this? This is like 2009. More recently.
Yeah,
This is wearable
before
antenna?
that. Yeah, it was wearable antenna. Yeah, I mean that's my last time.
Last time we dug into this industry.
Yeah, this whole
It hasn't changed from what I hear.
Yeah,
Defense industry.
Yeah, the defense industry is like is its own animal.
Yeah.
I think
to me it's home basically. I grew up there.
Yeah.
I spent like 7 years in the defense industry, and then I started my own business. So
yeah.
And
now you're circling back around.
I'm circling back around because man, like the things that our company does is basically like there's been no progress on like integrating software and like how'd you say it? Like I could not buy. I told Air Fortress was like 2009. We're 2nd Reconnaissance Battalion. We're 2008, and I'm basically trying to get the unit to buy what's called Air Fortress. It's like a secure Wi-Fi system that basically it can go like 12 miles. Like it's really like it's expensive.
Powered, yeah.
Like we had the money to do it, but like basically I couldn't get my commode to sign off on it because he was worried about Wi-Fi not being secure.
Yeah,
I mean maybe he was right when you think about it because they did find a bunch of issues with like web security. Like if basically you have to. But at the time, it was secure. Basically, later on, you can always discover like flaws in a what do you call it?
I mean, in that particular case, though, the enemy we were against it's not going to be.
They did not have
Wi-Fi. I mean, what would they get out of it? Honestly, I mean, like what if they it'd be like.
I made this argument.
Roger.
It wasn't good enough, basically. So we ended up not having Wi-Fi. And they could have been so great if we had Wi-Fi because there's been so like when we're in CAX or whatever.
Yeah.
Like just running a cable sucks. I had to run a cable. Here's a great question. Difference between an 0651 and an 0656, which is the Marine Corps jobs, is the 0656 tactical network operator knows how deep to bury a cable. So when a tank runs over, the Ethernet doesn't get cut. That's the 56.
12 inches?
I don't know. I dug as deep as I could. But
it felt like it
ended up being fine. It was in a little army base.
Yeah, speaking of that, we were talking the other day about that trailer system that they had, and it was a big thing that they try to do is it was a CO.
The ROC, Recon Operations
Yeah,
Center.
but there was this particular system. They had the Juniper servers or something. Jupiter
probably
server.
we shouldn't go into detail.
Oh yeah,
abstractly speaking, yes. There's a system.
Yeah. Well, so the whole point of the system was to remote radios, because your antennas are going to be radiating. And somebody that's going to be attacking that, if you had a more sophisticated enemy, that's what they're going to hit. Is going to hit because they can triangulate that and they can hit it. So you remote your everything in, or they used a fiber optic cable, and we had nothing to fix the fiber optic cable, and somebody ran over the.
Actually, you and I went to you and I are fiber optic installers, didn't we? Go
Yeah, we went to the fiber
that.
optic. Yeah.
The one good thing,
but we didn't have that. They didn't. I mean, they trained us, but we never had those tools.
The training was superb.
And
the training is superb. The U.S. military
$2,000 cable that we couldn't get.
Yeah, but then you can't
there's no spares. No spares. All the all the information went through that stupid cable, and because it did a great fiber optic network, one shot over there, and
it gets cut, you're done.
Yeah, and then you got to go over there.